What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel, and for today's video I have a very random best of both worlds video for you guys. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about a potential match between Corey Graves and Pat McAfee? What the fuck is that about? I am also going to be talking about the most recent NXT Call Ups, which include 3 superstars from NXT, all former champions. And on the Yu-Gi-Oh side of things, I'm going to be talking about some new Therions and a new Mathmech support in Power of the Elements, which is going to be an interesting topic, because when you look at Mathmech did fairly okay as far as the competitive meta goes, but it'll be interesting to have a look at. But let's take a look at Corey Graves versus Pat McAfee. Apparently Corey Graves wants to face off against Pat McAfee at Survivor Series. I guess a battle to see who's the better color commentator, I guess. So apparently Corey Graves was. So if you guys don't know, Corey Graves has been cleared to come back into the ring, and he has been for a few months now. And he was on Wrestling Inc. Big shout outs to them. No copyrights. You guys know how this works with the algorithm. He touched upon wanting to go up against Pat McAfee, and he basically said, quote, he said, quote, not to my knowledge was it ever discussed with any sense of legitimacy, but you've got to remember there's only one night a year Raw and Smackdown compete in head-to-head competition, Survivor Series. I hope I am going to start politicking now. I think McAfee and Graves at Survivor Series, I think we have to pass the bar that was set by Cole and Lawler at WrestleMania. So if you guys don't know, that was a reference to the match that took place at WrestleMania 27 in Georgia, where it was Michael Cole versus Jerry the King Lawler, which was yeah, I just don't have any words for it. It was just weird. I know that, you know, Pat McAfee he's had quite a few matches, excuse me, since being a part of the WWE was in 2020, which started out with him working the NXT Takeover pre-shows over the for quite a while, actually, for several years, and then having to face off against Adam Cole, at Takeover 30, and then competing inside of War Games at Takeover War Games when it was still inside the Capital Wrestling Center, I guess the Performance Center. Yeah, basically the PC, which was pretty insane, which was actually kind of a weird one, to say the very least. But of course, too, with Pat's last match, it was at WrestleMania last week, this past Sunday, last week, against Austin Theory, and then having a match against Vince. So honestly, having these two face off could be interesting. The only problem is that even though Graves is cleared to compete, that doesn't mean that he's still able to compete, you know, if that makes sense. Like, Corey Graves' last match was on NXT when he came out as a babyface, sort of. And he basically he had to tell the world, I've got to retire. I've got to retire. I got to sit on the commentary booth and just go from there. But again, he has been cleared to compete in the last, like, in the last couple months. So it's possible. It's possible we could see them. We could see Graves back in the ring, but only time will tell. But that brings me to. But since we're on the topic of NXT, let's talk about the most recent call-ups. We have not one, not two, but 3 NXT call-ups. We have Raquel Gonzalez, Marcel Barthel, and Gunther. Yeah. They've been recently called up to SmackDown. We don't really know when Raquel's going to debut. We don't know when she's going to have her in-ring debut on SmackDown. But I know that when she does, it's going to be a very interesting matchup. She's going to have quite the match on her hands if she were to go up against someone like Shayna Baszler or someone like Natalya or something. So I'm very curious about that. But unfortunately, Gonzalez and Barthel have been given new names. I don't know why. But Walter has name changed from Walter, which, spoiler, is his real name actually, funny enough, to a new name known as Gunther, which I have talked about that on the channel before. If you guys have not seen that video, I recommend watching it, because what you guys are gonna see, it'll blow your mind. It will blow your mind. But as far as Marcel Barthel goes, his name has been changed to Ludwig Kaiser, which is kind of stupid. But with Raquel Gonzalez, they kept the Raquel name, but instead of Gonzalez, it's Rodriguez. And she was in a backstage segment with Kayla Braxton, talking about wanting to duke it out with Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks and Naomi and Shayna Baszler. But she was welcomed by she was greeted by Los Loldarios, who attempted to kiss her. She didn't want none of that smoke. She wanted none of that smoke. And honestly, I'm excited to see Ludwig Kaiser, Gunther, and Raquel Rodriguez now on SmackDown. But one question remains: what will happen to Fabian Aichner? That is the big question that the world's been wondering. What's gonna happen to? Hang on, guys. Speaking of social media, I'm actually on Instagram right now. Let's see. The big question is, what's going to happen to Fabian Aichner? That's the big question. When are we going to see him remain in NXT, or is he going to go to SmackDown and join the rest of Imperium? That is the big question, because you guys know there were 4 members of Imperium. There was Kaiser, Gunther, Aichner, and Alexander Wolf. Alexander Wolf was attacked by Aichner and Kaiser by the fact that Wolf was gonna be leaving WWE, and because and now with the recent I don't know, guys. I'm just tripping out right now. The reason why Aichner left that matchup this past Tuesday was because of the fact that Kaiser and Gunther were going to be heading over to SmackDown. just, the same way that Gonzalez and Kai lost the women's tag team titles to Toxic Attraction. So it's possible that we might see Eichner in NXT, but we will find out in the upcoming. We will find out possibly this Tuesday, but only time will tell. But we don't really know if they're gonna truly stay to stay on SmackDown, but we will find out. But only time will tell. There's really not much else to say except this is kind of weird. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not. Don't get it twisted. I'm glad that these three superstars are being called up to SmackDown. But the biggest problem that I have is the fact that if Gunther were to go after Roman Reigns and the WWE Universal title, the one thing that I fear the most is the fact that if Roman accepts the challenge and defeats Gunther, the one thing that I fear is the fact that he might get lost in the shuffle and he ends up getting released from WWE like it happened in the past with several other superstars. Not gonna say names, you guys already know. And the same thing with Raquel. If someone like Charlotte Flair were to face off against Raquel and Raquel loses, she'll get lost in the shuffle and just end up on like main event or something like that, if that makes sense. But still, honestly, again, I'm glad that they're on SmackDown. Can't wait to see what happens. And if you guys hear music, I actually have Mifa's theme, which is from Breath of the Wild. Big shout out to the game. No copyrights. You guys know how it works with the algorithm. But moving on to some Yu-Gi-Oh news, including a couple of new Therions cards and a brand new Mathmech card, which apparently is being dubbed as their version of Magician's Souls, which I will talk about here in a bit. So first up, we have Therion's Empress Arazia, or rather Arasia, I believe how it's pronounced. It's an 8-star Earth reptile with 2100 attack and 2500 defense, and both of its effects are once per its first and second effects are once per turn. First effect reads: you can target one Therions or reptile monster in your grave. Special summon this card from your hand if you do equip it with that target. So with this effect, it acts as a not only is this a cyber dragon, but it has a built-in like I guess an auto equip or no I think what armory arm maybe. It's hard to describe it, but it has like a built-in equip, if you will, which is pretty cool. Second effect reads: you can discard one card that target one Therion's monster in your spell and trap zone. Special summon it. So it acts as sort of like a Crystal Promise with this effect, which is really cool. And then the third effect reads: a Therion's monster equipped with this card gains 700 attack, and the second effect of this card's name. Ooh, yeah. So basically, it's a way to just it's just a way to spam your board with even more monsters to be able to just go into your rank 8 place if you're running any in your extra, which is really cool. Next up, we have and then the last of the Therion's cards, as far as we know anyway, we have Therion's Irregular, which is a 10-star Dark Machine with 1600 attack. Sorry guys, my mom's coughing and she can't stop. Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. Sorry. So, next up we have Therion's Irregular, which is a 10-star Dark Machine, 1600 attack, 2800 defense, and all 3 of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads, you can only use... first effect reads, you can target up to 3 Therions monsters in your grave, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, equip it with those targets. So, basically, it becomes like... You're basically able to just spam your back row with a bunch of equips, and it's not too bad. It all depends on which one. It all depends on which ones you target, because some Therions cards can help the monster gain attack, or it does nothing at all, which is sad. Second effect reads, you can discard 1 Perpetual Engine Aggro system. Destroy all cards your opponent controls. Nice little board wipe, not too bad. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can special summon it, then equip it to the card. To this card, the monster was equipped to. So I guess like sort of like a role reversal with that one. Hard to say, but honestly, I'm not too fond of the new Therions cards. I know some people are, so I figured I'd talk about it. But next up, a Magician's Souls for Mathmech. What is the name of the Mathmech card? It is known as Mathmech Circular, which is a 4-star light Cyberse with 1500 attack and defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. You can send 1 Mathmech monster from your deck to the grave, except this card. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you can only attack with 1 monster for the rest of the turn. If another Mathmech monster or monster is normal special summon to your field, while you control this monster, you can add a Mathmech spell trap from your deck to your hand. So not only is this a Magician's Souls, but it also acts as sort of like an Eternal Soul for Mathmech, where you can add a spell trap that has Mathmech in its name, which is really cool. All in all, Mathmechs are pretty decent archetype. Therions I'm not too fond of, but I know that some people are, so I wanted to just talk about it and just give my thoughts on it. I think with these two new cards, the only downside to these 2 cards is the fact that they can is that if your opponent doesn't have an out to the special summon effect, then you automatically just win the duel easily. So your opponent would literally have to run Ghost Bell to negate the special summoning, and also to be able to use and also Ghost Ogre as well to negate the board wipe effect off of Irregular. So they would need to have a shitload of hand traps in order to negate the Therion's deck. But other than that, I don't think there's any downside to it. But that brings me to the question of the day: do you guys want to see Pat McAfee versus Cory Graves at Survivor Series? Let me know in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more Best of Both Worlds videos, which do not happen often, but if you guys do want to see more in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And as always, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links will be in the description below. And if you guys want to send me fan mail and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, all the info will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.